Welcome to the Jim Florentine Comedy Metal Midgets podcast on Riotcast.com. If you get a shop at Amazon, just go to my website, jimflorentine.com, and click on the Amazon button there and shop for there. It helps the podcast. And some tour dates. If you want to see me live doing stand-up. I also have, Comedy Metal Midgets podcast T-shirts on my website, too. I carry them at my shows, too, so if you don't want to buy it over to and get it mailed to you, I get it. I'll have it at my shows. But I have some dates. October 16, 17, New Hope Cinema in New Hope, Minnesota. And then I got a bunch of dates with Don Jamieson and Eddie Trunk. We do these live, That Metal Show shows. We're going to be in Glendale Heights, Illinois, November 6th. Token Lounge, Westland, Michigan, November 7th. And Buffalo and Syracuse, November 13th, 14th. Check out my website for all that shit. November 19th through 21, Funny Bone, St. Louis, Missouri. And just on sale now is January 8th, 9th, the Boca Black Box Comedy Club in Boca Raton, Florida, January 8th, 9th. So if you're down there, I love going to South Florida. And, I get to hang out with Gary from Florida when I'm down there. Always love doing that, seeing that guy, and then going down there in the winter. So, all right. Yeah, let's just get to it. There's no reason to just keep going on and on about shit. I get right to the point. I don't want to fucking, whatever. Doesn't really make a difference. This week's podcast is musician Nita Strauss. If you're not familiar with That Metal Show, Nita was on this past season. We always have a guitar player play in and out of the commercial breaks and just rip on the guitar. And we had her on this season for the first time. She plays in Alice Cooper's his band, his touring band now. And she used to be in a all-female Iron Maiden band called the Iron Maidens, cover band called the Iron Maidens. She was in there for a while, and then she gets the gig in Alice Cooper. It's a good story, and she's great on guitar, super cool chick, and just really good. And I just when I saw her, I guess Alice Cooper was in New York City, probably like late August or whatever, and I went to a hotel and I interviewed her there, and also I had her on my my Ozzy's Boneyard show. I do on Sirius XM. I do a show on Ozzy's Boneyard, and I had her co-host out with me. But go to nitastrauss.com. for all info on her. She's got a bunch of merchandise and videos and all this stuff. And but really good guitar player. If you're into guitar playing and stuff like that, she's young. You know what I mean? And she got the gig in Alice Cooper. She's great too, which is awesome. It's good to see some females out there rocking again. So check it out, Nita Strauss. This is her, Alice Cooper. Good story of how she got, from a cover band playing Iron Maiden covers into touring with Alice Cooper, which is a big deal. Alice Cooper's opening for Motley Crue on this last tour, so they're doing arenas. So she's basically playing in arenas. Went from, little clubs or whatever with the Iron Maidens out in the West Coast. They were from L.A. to arenas. So it's a good story. So check it out. And then at the end of the podcast, we always play some music, and there's a new Clutch record out. Love those guys. Psychic Warfare is the new record. And let me see what song I'm going to play off of here. I got it right over here. If you never get into Clutch, if you like this song, definitely get it. The last two, I'm a big fan. Psychic Warfare, it's the new record. It just came out last week. X-Ray Visions. There's also a video of this on YouTube. X-Ray Visions by Clutch. So check it out. Nita Strauss, X-Ray Visions, and we'll see you next week. All right, I'm here with Nita Strauss, she's a guitar player in Alice Cooper, and she used to play in the Iron Maidens, and it's got a whole bunch of stuff going on, and nitastrauss.com. I can do all the plugs later. I'll fill that in. I got, intros and all that stuff. But it's good to talk to you. I mean, the first time we met was on That Metal Show. You did a little guitar spot for us. A little shreddage, and got a great response.
Oh, it was so much fun. That Metal Show, it's a dream for a guitar player to get to go on and do a show like that, especially playing with Ace and Mark Farner there in the crowd, or there, doing the show, and it was just unreal. Yeah. So cool.
It's so cool to see females really move. It's not as tough these days, I think, as a female in bands. Also, comics. I've noticed the comics. It was really tough. It was probably the same thing with females in music, where it was a tough business, guy oriented, a lot of sexism, a lot of hey, if you don't fuck me, you can't work my club, that kind of thing.
Female comics too.
Yeah, for a long time, but it seems like they've broken through, and
Well, what the cool thing cool thing is in my experience, and I feel so very, very lucky to be on the scene at the time that I am now, because like you said, it's not really weird to be a female guitar player anymore. It's just like it's not really weird to be a female comic. And there was, the great guitar players that came, Jennifer Batten and Lita Ford, and, the guitar players that sort of blazed the trail, and Joan Jett, blazed the trail for all of us. And they were the ones that really dealt with that stuff. They're Michelle Meldrum, they're the ones that got it's weird to be a girl guitar player and the sexism. I can honestly say that no one has ever tried to fuck me for me to get a gig.
Right.
And that's the honest truth,
Yeah.
because it's just about your playing now. And I think if anything, the bar might be a little higher for a female guitar player because no one thinks you're going to be any good. There's a lot of shit guitar players out there, girls and guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's almost like the female comics, too. They, now that they're breaking through and they're doing the big clubs and stuff like that and the headline and, people going, she can't be funny. She's a chick. And then they come out like, oh, my God, she's really good.
She's hysterical. That Eliza, I don't know how to say her last name.
Schlesinger, yeah.
She's hysterical. She's so funny, and I was on. I did a clinic tour in Canada last year, and I think she and I were on the same circuit. We were doing the exact same places and staying at the same hotels and stuff. 'Cause everywhere I go, I'd see her name either there the night before mine or after. I was always bummed I couldn't catch it. She's funny.
Yeah, no, there's so many great comics out there now and stuff. But that was always the rap with it was tough to travel and stuff like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Staying in hotels and on the tour bus and just club owners and rock clubs and all that shit. Yeah. But
I mean, I will say, it is hard being on the road at all. I've never been on the road, not been a girl on the road, but I imagine that maybe it is a little harder. Like the guys in my band, maybe, I know they all miss home, they miss their families and stuff, but I think, I miss my boyfriend, I miss my dogs, I miss that kind of stuff, and that does get to me on the road, from time to time. But then you look out, you look out at the crowd, you see the show, you see how lucky you are to be there, and a great support system, and that's all you can really ask for.
Yeah. I know. I did a couple tours opening for Slayer.
Oh, really?
And I opened for Slayer, Megadeth, and Anthrax for a month, and then I did Gigantor last year with Megadeth and
How cool is that?
Black Label. But that was the first time I was on a tour bus and actually touring.
Good.
As a comic, we go in town for 3 or 4 days, and we play the same club, and then we leave. So it's a lot easier. We stay in a hotel, and this was the tour bus thing. It was new for me. Mm-hmm. But how do you deal with it? I mean, there's so much boredom and downtime. You pull up to the venue at 7 in the morning, and you're there the whole day until you leave at 2 in the morning.
Well, luckily my work is never done because I play guitar and I always have to practice. Right. We've got hotels, we've got sort of our days. We are lucky to have a lot of hotel time, and it's not always at the venue. We do get to do our own thing. We go to the mall and. Always go to the gym, always stay really, really active and stuff like that. So that does help pass the time a lot. And it's cool, our bus is a really family environment. We're on the bus with Alice. Everyone thinks Alice has his own bus, but he's on our bus. It's a family. He's Alice, his wife, our tour manager, Alice's assistant, and the full band is all on the same bus. So it's really I've always got 6 big brothers around, hogging the bathroom and taking out the stuff. There's not really time to be bored.
Right. So what is your routine when you the day before the show, the day of show?
Typically, get up, go to the gym first thing. I always go to the gym hungry, which sucks, but it's good for you.
Really, you don't eat before a little?
No, I was told that it's good to go on an empty stomach because you burn more fat and stuff that way. So I go and do fasted cardio. Come back, I eat. I get my meals sent out to tour to stay healthy. It's so hard to stay healthy on the road. There's this company called Icon Meals that they send out healthy food for us on the tour. They send out these awesome pre-packaged meals. So that keeps us healthy. That keeps us kind of in fighting shape. So we're not eating pizza at, midnight after the gig. And then typically on the Motley Crue tour, we don't even sound check. We just kind of cruise in. We do a meet and greet. Ryan Roxy and I do meet and greet before each show. We call it Rock and Roll Parking Lot. It's pretty fun. It's free. It's at the merch tent. And just go hang out, sign some stuff, take some pictures, and then usually off stage and on the road by 9:30.
Oh, so you guys leave right after the gig then?
We leave right after the gig for the most part. Every once in a while we get to stay, but usually we leave early so Coop can get to golf the next day.
All right, yeah. Well, you're on the boss's bus then. Yeah. That makes it easy. When I did the Gigantor, the first 5 days I was on Megadeth's bus. Yeah, and you leave right after the gig, and you stay in a nice hotel, and then after 5 days, we're going to put you on the crew bus, and then there's 12 bunks and there's 12 bodies, and you're driving, and if you get a day off, then you get a hotel room if you want.
That's the crew bus. That's the pirate ship, as we call it. The crew bus is the lawless renegade pirate ship.
And then, yeah, and you don't leave the venue till they're done, 2, 3 in the morning. Yeah. That's when the bus leaves.
Well, most bands most bands I've been in are like that. You don't leave the venue till later on. You get to stay and hang out. Have some beers in the parking lot, maybe chill with some fans and stuff. But this is just a totally different vibe. Everyone told me, "Oh, you're going on tour with Motley Crue. Better get your liver ready. Better get ready to party." This is like, I'm in the healthiest and best shape I've ever been on any tour. I think largely because Alice is 30 years sober, 35 years sober. The Motley guys don't drink. It's just a really cool, healthy environment. And again, it's hard to party and go crazy when you're on the boss's bus and everyone's in bed by 11.
Yeah.
So it's been great.
So you said this company delivers you guys healthy food. That's good because you don't have to go to catering. You don't know where the catering's coming from. You don't know what it's going to be each time you go to the tent. There's flies on it half the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's hot in the middle of a park. You're in Texas, and
Exactly. Or God forbid, you get pizza after every single show. You can only eat cold pizza at midnight so much before you start to feel like shit. So it's great having a company like Icon Meals around to help us out with that.
That's cool. Do you have any vices that are on the road that are tempting to you?
Not, to be honest with you, not really on this tour. It's been such a cool environment. There's not really, I like to drink just like, a lot of other musicians do. And this has just been such a cool, chill, laid back environment that there's not really you don't want to be the only wasted one on the bus. That's not cool. Yeah. Especially, playing in Alice Cooper. It's definitely it's a growing up experience. The days of pounding beers during, mid-song on stage with the Iron Maidens are a distant memory.
So is that with the Iron Maidens, you guys were just drinking a lot and just hanging?
Well, the Iron Maidens it's a rowdy band. We were just, going out, playing in South America, Argentina, Indonesia. We toured all over the place and just kind of going out, getting drunk and playing Iron Maiden songs. It was the best job ever. But you can only sustain that for so long. If you're drinking sometimes 8, 10, 12 beers a night, it starts to show.
No, I know. Believe as a comic too, you get bored. You're done with your show at 10 o'clock at night. You're like, all right, what do I do now? There's a lot of
there is pizza.
There's a lot of pizza or there's booze available, and you just gotta calm yourself down. So how does a girl get into Iron Maiden? Because there's not too many. I've been seeing Iron Maiden since I was a little kid.
What's the best Iron Maiden
you
ever saw?
I saw him with Paul Di'Anno.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
How was that?
I'm dating myself, but it was unbelievable. Judas Priest, Iron Maiden.
That's amazing. Actually, Paul Di'Anno, there was a rumor going around that he was trying to get us, the Iron Maidens, as his backup band for one of his tours. But the money, I probably shouldn't say what the money. What I heard, the money was something that would shock and appall most musicians.
Yeah, you basically couldn't buy a case of beer with the money.
Basically, yeah. It was basically a case of beer and some circus peanuts, playing. But that would have been a fun gig to do. I always love seeing Maiden too, and I've never seen them without the new lineup. I've always seen them with the 3 guitar players, but they always put on such a great show. Yeah,
amazing. But I saw them as a kid. Open for Priest.
Nice.
With Di'Anno, and then I've seen them over the years, and just an amazing band. But how does a girl get into Iron Maiden?
A guitar player getting into it rather than a girl getting into it, because I don't really know that many girls that I guess I do now. I know girls are into heavy metal, but I got into playing guitar and I was always a big fan of the 2 guitar approach to music. So Metallica, Megadeth, and of course Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. So the guitar tandem really was what I was into. So
you're growing up, you're in high school, whatever like that, do all the girls think you're weird because you play guitar and you're into hard rock and heavy metal and they don't understand?
Probably. I didn't really have a lot of friends in high school. I was already on tour at that point. I started touring at 15. So, I was kind of just hanging out with people that didn't go to my school at that point.
When did you start playing guitar? What age?
I started at 13. I played my first show with my first death metal band a few weeks after I started playing. It was a battle of the bands, and the band was so bad that everybody left, including one of the judges, and we didn't know we had to sell a certain amount of tickets, so my dad actually had to buy a bunch of the tickets to get us to be able to even play that night. So it's funny now looking back, I got my parents, a box at the Hollywood Bowl to see us play last summer, and I was kind of like, thanks guys, thanks for coming to all those terrible shows back in the day.
That's awesome. So both of your parents were completely supportive of you playing guitar and being a musician.
Very, very, very supportive. Sort of supportive from afar. They weren't the parents that were at all the shows. They weren't the parents that were, always in the front row. I know, like, a lot of people's parents, like, are always wearing their band shirts. And it's not like they wouldn't have done that if it was important to me, but they were just sort of supportive, like, good job, go do it, we're here,
No, that's good, though. And you said your dad was in a rock band?
Yeah, my dad's a bass player. My dad's a bass player, my mom's a dance teacher, and now I'm a musician. My little sister's a dancer. So they each got one.
Wow, that's awesome. So you start playing guitar at 13, and then you're on tour at 15. In 2 years, you're on tour?
Well, I didn't say I was any good.
Right, but still, you're on tour. That's pretty good.
Yeah, we did Warped Tour when I was 15, and just kind of stomping it out. I was in an all-female band, and we were just, like, sort of thrashing it out, going on Warped Tour. A lot of people don't know how grueling these tours are, like Warped Tour. You don't know what time you're going on. It's a rotating lineup. So one person from each band has to get up at like 8 and go and check in and see what time you play. And you could either play at 11 or you could play at like 4 or 5 p.m. You never know. Every single day is different. So these tours, it's really eye-opening. And we were on a really small stage. So like our first day we got there, we're like, oh, there's food. We get in the line at catering, we get up, and they're like, show us your pass. Oh, you don't have the right pass. So we had to go put our plates back and walk back past the line.
All right, because only certain bands got food or whatever. So what band was this that you played on Warped Tour?
Local LA band, never ever did anything,
right.
So many of those. Ryan Roxy always says, I've been in 100 bands, 98 you never heard of.
Right. So wow, so that's good. So how does that work with school when you're going on tour? Was it the summer, or did you miss school? How did that?
For summer. I actually dropped out after a while to really focus on music. I dropped out after junior year, but I did summers and like winter break. We'd go out for 2 weeks, do like West Coast from LA up to Seattle, that kind of thing.
And your parents were okay with you traveling at 15 years old in a band, playing and stuff?
Oh, totally. I think they might have thought that the situation was a little more secure than it was. I think they thought we had a parent with us or something, which we did. We did some of the time. Our bass player's dad came out with us every once in a while. She was actually younger than me. But a lot of the time it was just us. And it was just 4 girls and a baseball bat.
Just in case, yeah.
Never
So
had to use it.
and so you quit school after junior year? Mm-hmm. And your parents were okay with that?
They said if you get your GED, you can do it, which I think they took to mean I wasn't going to do it. They didn't think I was going to do it. I got my GED the next week, so they were kind of like, all right, shit. And
that's great, and they were supportive of you playing and quitting school and going on tour and playing. That's really good because usually you don't get that. Yeah. When you get in entertainment, they're like, look, you're not going to make any money. What are you going to do? Are you really... You should go to college, get an education, all that other stuff.
Well, they said all that stuff. They did say it.
Right.
They did say it. But I think at the same time, maybe, at least I hope, maybe someday to be a parent. And, when I look at my kids, if they really see what they're supposed to be doing, they really see what they're happy doing, and it's something they're actually good at, people want to see them doing it, I think I'd be supportive of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Unless it's something crazy.
Right. My son's not even 5 yet. He's already got 2 drum sets. See? He's gone to 6 shows already. All he wants to do is we get up in the morning. He just wants to listen to music.
That's awesome. What does he like?
Huh?
What does he like?
Oh, he just likes hard rock and metal.
What does he ask for? Like, does he say like, Dad, I want to listen to
his favorite band is Papa Roach.
Nice.
He loves Papa Roach, but he also loves Slipknot. Slayer, AC/DC.
Your 5-year-old is into the exact same music that I was when I got into playing guitar.
Really?
Oh, totally.
He likes. He also likes Hailstorm, Pretty Reckless. Yeah, he likes the girls too. Girls. Yeah, he already told me the other day. I know. Yeah, I told him I was interviewing. He's like, "Can you get me your autograph?" He goes, "The girl in Alice Cooper, Nita, the girl." I'm like, "Yeah."
5-year-olds know me.
No, he knows.
That's rad.
Yeah. But it was a little weird moment. Like a month ago, we were watching I think a new Hailstorm video or whatever, and they're watching a Pretty Reckless. He met them. We went to some festival and he saw them perform and everyone. So we're watching the videos he's like, Dad. He goes, my penis gets really big when I see these girls in videos.
When he's 5?
He's not even 5. He said that.
I know. I was like, you could do that then?
Yeah. And the next day he showed me. He whipped it out when we were watching it.
Look, Dad.
Yeah, he's like, look, Dad, look. And I'm like, all right, well, yeah.
You know what's funny? The girls, Lizzie Hale and Maria and all these girls from these bands. It's funny how we don't really know each other. I think some of them do. I don't know anybody. I'm always on these Revolver Hottest Chicks in Hard Rock and stuff with everybody, and I don't know anybody. I've never even met Lizzie Hale. I think she sounds so cool. Like, she seems like such a cool person, and Taylor Momsen too. Like, from interviews, they all seem like so cool. I kind of want to be like, I feel like the kid on the outside of the fence. Like, hey guys, like, you guys want to hang out? They're
really cool, both of them. Yeah, and Lizzie is just a monster on stage. I mean, that voice she has. Yeah, and Taylor's great too. So let me think. So you're in the Iron Maidens. So you go from playing a little local bands, then you get the gig in the Iron Maidens. Was it your roommate that was in the Iron Maidens? What's the story with that?
It was Courtney Cox and I became really, really close friends after I got into the band. And I get my own timeline so confused what bands I was in and what time. I was playing in I was in a death metal, like sort of deathcore band called As Blood Runs Black, and I was in Jermaine Jackson's band for a while, which not a lot of people know. And I just sort of bounce around stylistically so much. And then I was doing a signing at the NAMM show, at the NAMM convention in Anaheim. And Courtney came up to the booth and she said, "Hi, I'm Courtney from the Iron Maidens. We heard you're a great guitar player, and we have an opening for Dave Murray. Do you want to come down and audition?" Or no, she said, "We have an opening for a guitar player." And I said, "Can I be Adrian?" She said, "No, I'm Adrian." And I said, "Pass." And she's like, "All right." So a year went by, a year or so, we became friends. And then she said, "Look, she came to me. She said, as a huge favor to me, we've got this show at the House of Blues. It's already sold out. Hometown show for me because I'm from LA, born and raised." And she goes, "We've got this show. It's sold out. We just lost a guitar player. Can you just learn 10 songs just to help me out? Like 10 songs, maybe 12, and get paid a couple bucks and play some Maiden songs to a sold out hometown crowd." It's like, well, when you put it that way,
Right.
Of course I'll do that. And then all of a sudden, it was 3 years later, and we played all over the world, and Asia and South America and Europe. Did I do Europe with them? I never know. But it was just a blast. I'm playing in that band. It's like sleepover time all the time with all your best friends playing Iron Maiden songs.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
So you go from the Iron Maidens, and then how do you get the gig in Alice Cooper?
I did. I was playing for the LA Kiss Arena football team. I was supposed to originally just do like some in-game kind of entertainment stuff. They have the organ player at hockey games, the dun 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 dun, and Gene and Paul had this idea to have like a shredder do it, like play some shred stuff in between. And then Harlan Hendrickson, who is their sort of mastermind of the whole extravaganza, called me up. He goes, "Look, it's the home opener. We don't have anyone do the national anthem. Do you know any singers?" I thought he was going to ask me. I was like, "Yeah, of course." Oh. And I was like, "Look," I was like, "Please," I was like, "if you don't find anybody, just let me do it. Let me do it Hendrix style just one time. If you don't like it, I'll never do it again. I won't charge you guys anything extra," which I think is probably what sold Gene and Paul on it.
Yeah.
I said, and they let me do it, and it was so much fun. It was such an amazing experience. And then I was playing in a band called Femme Fatale. We were on the Monsters of Rock cruise, and Kip Winger came out to see the show. And he goes, I was talking to Kip after our gig, and he's like, "Let's stay in touch. I might have an opportunity for you." Turns out that he recommended me to Shep Gordon. He said, "I saw a great guitar player. They were looking for a female guitar player for the band." And he said, "Don't audition anyone else. I have somebody for you." And he sent Shep the video of me playing the national anthem, and that was really what kickstarted the whole thing.
And then you get the gig in Alice Cooper.
And I got the gig in Alice Cooper.
That's awesome. And now you guys are on tour, but for like the last year and a half, opening for Motley's last tour,
right.
Doing 20,000 people a night.
That's right. It's really been surreal. It's been like a surreal journey. We did 3 warm-up shows with Alice, which are 105 minutes. The set's really long. And then jumped right on the Motley Crue tour and went down to 50 minutes. And I was like, well, shit, you guys couldn't have started me out with the short set. Right. But it's been really, really crazy. And the guys in the crew are so cool. They've been really great to us. And it's just been a great package all around.
Wow, that's awesome, man. That's a great story. You're 28 years old, already playing in Alice Cooper.
That's right.
Playing the Iron Maidens, doing all this stuff.
It's so crazy. I think about this all the time. I look at Wikipedia and I see, Reb Beach and Al Pitrelli and Kane Roberts, the Steve Hunter and the great guitar players Alice has had in his band. And I look down at the bottom of the list and my name is on there. And I think about it. I'm like, wow, I grew up with pictures of these guys on my walls. And now my name's there. Like, now I'm one of them. And it still, like, blows my mind.
Yeah. So who was your influence as a guitar player? Like, who was your first... was it a rock guy? Was it a metal guy? Or you said classical. You come from a classical background.
It was Steve Vai. It was
phenomenal.
Vai. It was from the movie Crossroads, which anybody that is a music fan should have seen this movie. And there's the scene, the battle scene at the end where essentially, for anybody that hasn't seen the movie... Ralph Macchio plays a guitar player who's a great classical player, wants to play the blues, and he has all these adventures, crazy adventures. Then he goes to hell, and he meets has to battle the devil's guitar player, who's played by Steve Vai. And I just remember from the very first note that Vai played, I just sat straight up. I was like, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. That is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. How come nobody told me a guitar can make sounds like that?
Right.
And from then on, it was just straightforward ahead with the shred stuff, with Jason Becker and Marty Friedman and Sean Lane, and just the real. I got right into the real technical stuff.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Like to learn guitar, Steve Vai. I'm trying to think like Eat 'Em and Smile record, the David Lee Roth. Is that amazing or what?
That's unreal, absolutely unreal.
What about the Alcatraz, Disturbing the Peace that Vi played on?
All of it. I like Malmsteen Alcatraz and Vi Alcatraz. It's all good.
The first one with Malmsteen on it too. Yeah,
Unreal.
Those first two Alcatraz records, so good.
Totally underrated. Totally underrated guitar records and just records in general.
Yeah, and then even Skyscraper was good. The Roth record with Vi.
I like every guitar player David Lee Roth's ever had. He's another one of those guys. Someone told me that for how many years the good gigs had been the Alice Cooper gig and the David Lee Roth gig, and I just can't believe I got one of them.
Yeah.
I snapped one up, and now every once in a while there's the Whitesnake gig or the Judas Priest gig. We got Richie Faulkner and these great guys. And doing it. Joel Hoekstra now playing in Whitesnake, and it's just cool. It's cool seeing the evolution of these bands and seeing, like I knew Joel from Night Ranger and now, seeing him playing in Whitesnake. It's great seeing the evolution of all these bands.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, I've been a huge Steve Vai fan for years. Man. I actually got a comedy CD out on his label.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was just so excited. I'm like, I'll in a second. He's like, it's not it might not be the greatest deal. There might be better ones out there. I'm going to be on Steve Vai's label. He's like, well, let's go to dinner. We'll talk. I'm like, I'm going to dinner with Steve Vai. I'll sign right before you even order.
Oh yeah, totally. I got to go to his studio at his place once, and I was trying to it was with one of his engineers. I was working on something, and I saw the house. The studio separate from the house, and I was like, would it be okay if I use the bathroom? I wanted to go in the house so bad. They're like, oh, there's a bathroom in here. I was like, shit.
Yeah, I've been in that house too. Yeah.
I saw the pool. I saw the handprints and stuff by the pool, and I was just totally totally starstruck.
Yeah, and he's a really good dude too.
I've heard. I haven't really gotten to speak with him much, but he's been extremely nice the few times I've met him.
I would love to see that band together one more time. This David Lee Roth, Steve Vai, Billy Sheehan, and Greg Bissonette on drums. Just do one tour.
You and me both.
I saw that tour. I saw it a couple times. Those guys, it was unbelievable. But just to see him now, to do it, maybe even doing another record or something like that.
Yeah. I would have loved to see Jason Becker get to play with him.
I saw Becker play with him once.
Really?
Yeah. I'm a huge David Lee Roth fan, so I've been following him for years. Yeah. So,
what an amazing story that guy has, Jason Becker. Holy shit, that guy's story is just. I got to meet him earlier this year, and my boyfriend and I went up to his place, and just totally blown away by how inspiring that guy is. Really, really amazing.
Yeah, I know. It's a great story. The documentary on him is great too.
Yeah, Jason Becker's not dead yet.
Yeah. So Nita, how is it being on the road? Do you get? I'm sure you get this question a million times, but I'm always curious about it. Female comics always tell me, if they're single. I mean, I know you have a boyfriend and stuff, but if they're single, they don't want to meet a guy in the crowd because that's weird. They came to the show, but they might see some good-looking guy oh man, this would be perfect, but he was at the show. I can't do that. Even when you were in the Iron Maidens and stuff like that, what do you do with guys that want to hang out and meet you after the show?
I'm so clueless with stuff like that. I don't, people always go, oh, you have groupies, you have guy groupies, and I don't even notice this stuff. I'm just looking for the bar.
Right.
But I've had a couple, it hasn't really been groupies for me so much as insane stalkers that I deal with. It's not like, you imagine, the Motley Crue guys say in the 80s have this parade of good looking chicks outside their hotel room. It's not like I have a parade of Abercrombie models outside my hotel room. It's more like creepy, people that send multiple letters to, my website and, send weird presents and show up at weird meet and greets in hotels, and it's not as exciting as you would think.
Yeah, because I think guys are probably intimidated, of you being on stage to go, hey, I see you're in town for a couple of days. Can I take you to dinner?
That actually happens more than you would think on social media, and I had somebody.
But they won't come to you face to face, after a show or something.
Only one time can I think of that happening. Only one time. It was on the last Motley Crue run, one of those big amphitheater shows, and I always will like, you know, put a hoodie on and like walk out and, you know, see the show from the crowd from somewhere. And this guy came over, he's like, "You're that guitar player." He goes, "Listen, we're going to get married." I was like, "I don't think so." I don't know you, dude. I don't know you from anybody. He's like, "No, listen, we're going to get married. This is a story we're going to tell our grandkids, how we met in the crowd." I was like, you know what? A for effort. Nice to meet you. I'm going to go back on the bus.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not that good of a story to say you met in the crowd.
Yeah, we met at the gig.
Yeah.
How else are you going to meet anybody?
That's true. All right, so what do you have upcoming? I know you're doing the Alice Cooper tour. It's probably going to finish with Motley at the end of the year, and then what's up next for your career?
Well, I'm really excited. I'm actually working on a solo record now. I've been writing it for about 2 years. I've been, you know, it's been so hard writing on the road. It's so hard, you know, coming up with cool stuff in hotel rooms without my amp, without my 7-string here, because it's a heavy record that I'm writing. So hopefully next year, just really focus on that, really get that going, get it out. Maybe Favored Nations will like it.
Yeah,
who knows? But really just focus on that, and then, of course, whatever Coop wants to do, I'll be on board with that.
Right. All right, cool. Well, we'll check out nitastrauss.com. I'll do the plugs later and and then we'll play a song at the end. We'll figure it out. But thanks for being on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast.
Absolutely. All right.